Hey everyone! Hi, welcome to the Let It Go Talent Show at Café 52, the Java Club Drama Club. Sorry, I hate that too. But so this is something that I started. I'm the social coordinator of E52, and it's just a little talent show that I kind of want to make biannual if I can, so stick around. So I want to get started right away because we have a lot of talented peeps here tonight. But first, a little shameless self-promotion. Can I get the Kevins up here?
And Lena.
And Lena, their lovely production manager.
Alright guys, what's up? So we're here to plug SASS, which if you don't know what it is, it's short attention span theater. This is about they're about 6 plays, all student written and directed, and they all last about 10 to 15 minutes long. It's a lot of fun. They're usually really funny. They're always great time to come out and see what E52's like. If you don't want a high commitment type show, this is it for you.
Yeah, if you guys are new to theater, new to college theater, or you guys just want to try dipping your toes in the water, this is definitely the production to join.
It's the shallow end.
Oh, we are the steps. Steps. The theater in the water. It's a fun time, guys. If you guys want to learn more about the behind-the-scenes aspects, everybody that is in our show also gets to learn about the behind-the-scenes stuff. Definitely something to look forward to. A lot of new members definitely started with SASS and grew through the organization. That's where we started. So, heck yeah!
The theme this year is a pretty good one. It's Hell, Sass, No Fury. So then our tagline is Revenge, Hell, and Badass Women.
Oh yeah! So all of our shows are based around those 3 themes. And also we're just throwing in there, it's gonna be memes. We love memes.
It's gonna be real good.
Let me get a round of applause just for memes. Oh God, I love memes. So yeah, guys, woo! Come out and audition. We'll find us on social media. We don't know the dates.
Thank you. Okay, and now I'll hand it over to my co-host.
Hi everybody.
Hi guys, we're your baristas for the night, baristas. I'm Jenna Dort. No, not quite. Thank you guys for coming. We have a lot of talent tonight.
So much talent.
We would like to introduce our first act, Matt McKee. He's doing stand-up, so you might want to sit down for this.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I thought of that for a while. All right,
Matt McKee, come on up here.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna do a real stand-up right now. We need the stool, somewhere to put the foot. All right, how you guys doing? I woke up today and I had a really big problem. So, my whole plan for this was, for the last year and a bit, I've been keeping a notes on my phone of everything that I could use in a stand-up set. I guess at some point I deleted that. So, here we are. But what I did find was a little, another notes folder called Best Stuff I Ate. And I thought to myself, this could have something in there. I could use this. I opened it up, and it's a really interesting list, so let's go. Best stuff I ate. Salmon, end of list. That was all I could do. I don't know what that means. I don't remember the salmon, which one it was, who made it, anything about it. But it was so good that I decided in my brain that there would never be a good food in my life again. Or it was enough that it just broke me to the point where I didn't even remember making the list. So, that's kind of the only thing I have for you guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm a senior now. It's very weird. There's a lot of other seniors out here who I feel probably agree. It's very strange to be here. And the weirdest part for me is I keep flashing back to this moment freshman year that I had with a senior friend of mine. Even though he was someone who had no right to do this with anybody, took me under his wing and tried to show me what it was like to be a UD student. And one night, he was 22, drunk. He pulled me aside at a party and went, "Now Matt, listen to me. It's all gonna fall apart. Your body won't be able to take it anymore. All you're gonna wanna do is sleep. and then you're just gonna lose it, like that. And I laughed at him like to his face that night about it, and he didn't laugh bad. He was funny. He really thought he was being helpful to me, and I feel bad now because he was right, but like not in the way I thought. Because like at first I thought like he was trying to put his curse onto me, like this specifically happened to him, and now it was my burden to bear, like weakness and like nothing going on. But like I don't suffer from all the things he did. I think maybe just my brain broke. And I want to give an example of something that happened the other day to me that kind of helps prove that. So I was in a rush, as you often are here. I had to get to class and I needed something to eat. So I stuck my hand into a bag of popcorn that I have laying on my desk at all times because just in case. And it was about a club, like hand size. I was walking, I dropped like one piece of corn right on the floor. I stopped, I leaned over, I picked it up, checked it, ate it. I kept walking, dropped another one, exact same way. Didn't like change the way my hand was forming or anything. Same process. I get to the steps and I turn the corner on the steps to my house and start moving down. One of them falls, bounces off a step, bounces over the railing, off the side. I drop everything. I run downstairs and I search the room, like under tables, everywhere I can look. I cannot find this piece of corn. And I needed it for some reason. In my head it was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it through the day without it. I finally found it like on the ground, laying next to like a little chair. It was hiding behind the leg. Little bastard was hiding behind the leg. And I picked it up and then my brain clicked in and went, you've been doing this for 5 minutes. That's my phone. I've been doing this for 5 minutes. There was not a chance I wasn't going to be late for class now. And then I looked at the corn, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not I ate that piece of corn or threw it in the trash because it was sitting there for 5 minutes, because I want you guys to decide for yourself what you think happened. But yeah, I do believe I have his curse now, that awful senior who's off doing whatever he's doing now. But I'm really still trying. Like doing all the young person things of like going out, trying to like spend time with friends, socialize, and do homework. You can only do one at this point. I didn't know that rule. And it just kind of has broken me. Like, I don't have time to rest, but I still manage to the point where teachers have now caught me. So professors have now caught me in the back of the room. And one of them like did call me up today saying like doing attendance, missed my name once. Yelled my name back at him when I heard it the second time. Instead of saying here, I yelled Matt. And they understood that I wasn't happy to be there, so we just kind of left it like that. Another change in me that I've noticed, this isn't just from senior year, this is just in the last like 6 months. I've become like a curmudgeon-y old man. That's like the transformation I'm taking, which was weird to me because I've always been pissed off. I've spent my entire life being someone who's irritable and angry, but never grumpy. Like grumpy's never been my thing. But now I think with this age, like jump that I've taken, I've turned into like an older father. So I'll like be angry at people and not really know what's going on. Like I'll turn to friends having a conversation and just go, what are you talking about? What's going on? What do you mean? They're not even talking anymore. I'll just keep going at them, just like, what are you saying? What's up? And if I don't follow the conversation, I don't let you have it anymore. And it's not really fun for anybody. But I don't think I'm coming back. I think a second win isn't real for me. So maybe I just accept it. So if you guys get near me in the future at any point and you like see me start to turn, like the gear turn in my head where I go from like able to smile to impossible to talk to, you now know why. It's because I'm a senior and this is apparently natural. I'm all done. Thank you guys.
That was great,
That was
Matt.
actually really funny.
Relatable.
I laughed.
Relatable content.
I was like, I don't relate.
Like, okay, so, on a lighter mood, what would that would be like? But, now for some lovely music, one of our own members, Luciana Vernola, is gonna sing Let It Go from everybody's favorite Disney musical, Frozen.
Frozen! Woo!
Okay, before any of you complain about Frozen, remember, 10 of you came up to me and said this. So, you dug your own graves. Oh, and it's in Italian. La neve che cade sopra di me copre tutto con soli. In questo remoto regno la regina sono io. Ormai la tempesta nel mio cuore rompe già. Non la fermerà la mia volontà. Conservato ogni bugia per il mondo, la colpa è solo mia, così non va, non sentirò un altro no. D'ora in poi lascerò che il cuore mi guidi un po', scoderò quel che so e da oggi cambierò. Resto qui, non andrò più via, sono sola ormai, da oggi il freddo è casa mia. Vorrei un bene, poter scappare un po', può sembrare un salto enorme, ma io l'affronterò. Non è un difetto, è una virtù e non la fermerà mai più nessun ostacolo per me, perché d'ora in poi troverò la mia vera identità e vivrò, si vivrà per sempre in libertà. Se qui il posto è mio, io lo scoprirò. Il mio potere si diffonde intorno a me, il ghiaccio aumenta e copre ogni cosa accanto a sé, il mio pensiero cristallizza la realtà, il resto è storia ormai, chi passa se ne va. Come il sole tramonterà, per chi mai all'alba sorgerà. Ecco qua la tempesta che non si fermerà. D'oggi il destino appartiene a me.
That was fantastic.
Do you know I take Italian? And I
Like
didn't
that?
understand it.
Like that? Okay.
That was incredible.
So now for an English act.
Pencil Bill, sorry everybody.
So Riot Act, they do improv on campus. They're gonna come up here and sing.
They're not
No,
singing,
they're
not
doing
singing.
improv.
You and your jokes today,
So
buddy.
bad, I know. All right,
Anyways, here
so
comes Riot Act. Come on up here, do some improv.
Alright, so hold on to it. We could try and sing for you, but I can guarantee it's not going to be anything like what just happened. Woo! But similar, because you won't understand it, probably. We are Riot Act. We're a improv group. Today we're going to do a mono scene for you guys, which, to explain, basically we're going to set up an environment on the stage. We might enter and exit as different characters, but for the entirety of the scene, we will be in the same location. And from you guys, I need whatever that location is. like something that can fit on the stage, like a coffee shop or
Moon bounce.
Hospital room. Barbershop.
McDonald's drive-through. Hospital room.
Waiting room or like a...
Be more specific.
Up to discretion.
No, I like hospital.
The ER.
ER hospital room. All right, we'll just go with that.
Ooh.
He's fine.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's a relief. I thought he was dead. Okay.
Yeah, they just look like that when they're getting better.
Sweetheart, I know you haven't seen your father in a while since the accident. Like,
And that time
you might look a little different now, but it's okay.
That's fine. I'm fine with anything.
Oh, Christ.
He's getting better.
That's just a...
Good sign.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I don't
Recovery.
really know how medical things work, but you're the doctors, right? You are doctors.
You don't have gloves on. That's a bad idea.
Can I touch them?
Honey, maybe we should go see a movie instead.
Here's your bill.
Wait. Now go.
Thanks, Doug. All right, great. Where work?
Yeah, we did.
Nailed it.
We did good. Here, then.
We get next one? Roll 'em in.
Ah!
Oh,
You need a heart?
I get the heart attack.
You need a new one?
Let's get that one.
Yeah, all right. Let's go. Nurse!
That's me.
Scalpel! Alright, shh. You're gonna have to.
Anesthesiologist.
Oh, that's a good. Always forget that step. Oh, that's a lot of blood.
Get away from my patient!
Oh,
What are you doing to that lady?
I was about to take his heart out. But
They need that!
would you like to do it?
This is a serious surgery, which is why they sent a much angrier doctor with only 1.5 the amount of legs you have.
Do have less leg.
Hearts are more of a... Yeah, this is fine. It's like a kidney in the middle. Pointy bit. Oh. That was... Okay. Ratchet.
Ew.
Actually, hold on. I have an idea. Give me a bicycle pump.
Excuse me. I don't want to interrupt, State Police here. We're looking for a guy that fits this description: tall, dark hair, half a leg. He escaped from the insane asylum earlier this morning.
Impersonating a doctor. I don't know who that could have been.
Is that a crime?
What about impersonating a nurse?
Charles, when did you get here?
I just parked my car out back. I'm sorry I was a little late. I was at the McDonald's drive.
Never mind. What are you doing to my suspects? It's my job to question them.
Wait.
That looks familiar.
Why does that keep happening?
So, yeah, he'll be fine, probably. Rule of threes, right? They can't die until the third one. You know what?
Do you need any help with that?
No, it's good. It's
Oh,
fine.
great.
I have 2 strong normal legs.
Forgot his heart.
I always forget that.
Wow. Anyway, we've been investigating a couple of other incidents on this block. I heard some shots fired earlier today.
The hospital?
No, down the street from the hospital. I was wondering if anyone came in. I had some questions to ask of them.
Like, who was shot?
That could be helpful in figuring out who did the shot fired.
Yeah, we just throw a bunch of questions at the wall if you spit.
There's a guy here. He was like, somebody shot me, but then he keeled over, so he wasn't much help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just threw him in the bin with the others. I mean, the morgue.
Oh, your morgue is a bin.
Did I say bin? I meant the little cat.
Hey, we got another one. Where's the bin? Jim, sorry.
He didn't say bin.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
said, those nice little sort of sleeping bag. No sleeping bags, you put them in. Put the bodies in.
Oh, yeah.
You see
like
shows.
crime shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Photos, like, so accurate.
Yeah.
I have the butcher bill here for all the body parts.
Steve,
Not even time.
with the
What's up later?
go hang out
Would
with
you be
Jim.
suspicious of anything? I'm a very gullible person.
So you seem like you have perfectly reasonable practice going on here. We're going to keep allowing you to save lives.
Yeah, it says butcher's bill. It's like we treated butcher earlier. That was that was
That's
it.
fine. That's a normal phrase. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Narcs go.
Yeah. God. Fuzz is gone.
Do you wanna take turns doing anesthesia to each other again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is the lethal dose?
Like 6.
Like 6 seconds on the here. Okay, we'll figure it out.
I don't know,
We'll
but
figure it out together.
Give me 5.
I guess just like 6 of these needles. Let's start with 1. 1 can't hurt you.
Alright. Bring out your dead! The body bin's coming through!
Time, that worked!
Oh, into the bin.
Oh, I'm alive. I'm just.
You get a nice head rush?
Oh, hey, I need to tender my resignation.
Why?
I'm gonna go start working at the children's hospital.
I don't know if that's noble or terrible.
Knowing Jim, it's probably both. You want to say one?
Yeah, give me 2.
Oh!
Total of 3.
Like it's going.
Children's hospital didn't have a bin!
Come over there. He's doing the Lord's work.
Such a noble man.
3 good?
I'm feeling great.
Do you want?
You want to check?
Oh, you're gonna do me? Yeah.
You know we said take turns.
You with 2. Let's just get both the arm through it. Actually, can you do neck? That's like a
Yeah.
Frankenstein thing.
Oh yeah, that's the most direct way.
Alright, so as one of our donors, we think it's important that we show you guys all around the facility so you can get a good understanding of what we do here and what you're donating to.
Okay.
What's up?
I'm not sure how to describe what's going on here.
Jesus Christ. Broken out?
Yes, that is exactly what happened. I will hit the button for a code red that the mental patients have escaped. Why don't you guys make your way downstairs and I'll handle this? What the hell are you doing?
We're taking turns.
Don't continue to keep doing it. Now we have the guards coming up here.
But I already went, so it was his turn. You want one?
No.
You know what doesn't arouse suspicion is when the question is. I feel.
Sir, I have no need for there to be suspicion about myself.
You're the one who called in the code red. It seems
Because
like.
we have 2 medical professionals injecting each other.
Professional is such a strong word.
Also, I'm going to take a different angle of who she is. You just specified that we're the professionals here, so like, what do you know? This is experimental.
Yeah.
I should have gone into veterinary work.
Yes, right this way. Don't worry, we have plenty of anesthesia.
I need major surgery.
We have at least like 5 or 6 doses.
Good, yeah.
Give it to me, Doc.
We're gonna have to cut him open.
If this is the last one, And I was really saving it for something special. We had a...
No, it's never, we just filled it. You're gonna be fine. Okay, cut him open, Doc.
Oh, me? Yeah, you take the... what's wrong with him?
Kidney's in the wrong place. Switch it around.
I'll just break my leg.
Your hand's a little shaky. You want a little?
Yeah, I should go again.
You know, it's-
Oh, yeah. Right, better?
Hey, I feel great.
Alright.
The kidney's always in the wrong spot.
You got an open wound.
Oh.
Oh,
jeez. I
Guys.
noticed that.
Guys.
I feel completely
How's up, sir?
Guys.
And you're good to go.
Great.
I should do this for a living.
Okay, someone strap me up.
Good.
How does this work? You're breathing it in. Do we have needles?
It's
Because
kinda-
very ambiguous about this.
Yeah.
We have a depository.
Just like in medical school.
You got a quick briefing.
What seems to be the problem?
Let's get out of it. I don't want any of
So, that's not what it looks like. We were, there was a colon out. Well, looks like I got another one to explain to the missus.
That was amazing.
It was like going to student health.
Oh my god, exactly!
Just like it.
Alright, so up next, we
Right back together.
Yeah! So up next we have Mariel Abano, and she's going to be performing, because I can talk, performing
An original song.
an original song called One Night Crush. Let's give it up for her. Come on!
Woo, Ashley Taylor.
Yeah, can everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote this song like last summer about like a guy that I thought I liked, but that I didn't like. It was just like, I don't know, it was a thing. I was like, might as well just write like a stupid song about it, so now that's just what I'm gonna do.
Woohoo!
Hope you enjoy. I don't know if I like you. I mean, how I'm with you. But you don't have time, he said. Think I like you. I'm not really sure. I just know that I feel something, I want something more. Think that I like you, but what can I do? I barely even met you, you don't know me, I don't know you. Why am I wasting time like this? How did I become such a mess? Why am I looking for something I don't need? Why do I need you to be with me? I don't need to search for love, 'cause I already have enough right here with me. Thought that I liked you, I wasn't really sure. I thought that I felt something, but I don't need that anymore. Thought that I liked you, there was nothing to do. I barely even met you, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I thought that I liked you.
That was really amazing. You wrote that by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Shoot, I dropped it. All right, that was wonderful. So up next, we have something really funny by Haley Kimmel, and she's gonna do
some stand-up.
stand-up. Woo! Oh, hi. Hi guys, how are we doing?
Click the button.
Got it.
Wait. Yeah, got it now.
Have you ever seen It Chapter 2 yet? No! Oh my god, I want to see it so badly. I saw the first movie and I loved it. I thought it was so good. Do you know what it is? Like the clown, the sewer, the kids?
Yeah.
Yes? Loved it. I thought it was so good. I'm very excited to see It Chapter 2, especially because in the first movie, the main cast is all like kids. And in the sequel, they're all adults, which I'm hype about that. I think that's a cool idea. I'm excited to see it. I do have an issue with how they chose to cast the adult versions of the children. Because in the first movie, there's this little boy. He has glasses on. And he's an adult in the second movie. We know it's the same kid because he has glasses as an adult. I'm cool, makes sense, got it. In the first movie, there's a little boy that's fat. And you know what they did to him in the sequel? He's skinny now. I'm mad about it. Where did my representation go? I saw that first movie, I identified with that character, I was like, I feel you. And they hired a skinny actor. And it doesn't stop there either. First movie, there's a little boy, broken arm. Sequel, arm's totally fine. Hello, are we just ignoring plot holes now? That's fine. I mean, at least I liked that movie. That movie was good, just that one issue. You know what movie I hate though? I hate The Wizard of Oz. I hate it. I don't care if you like it. I think it's long, I think it's boring, and there's no moral to the story, and I'm standing by it. There's no moral. You cannot tell me there's a message. Some people like to argue that the moral of the story is there's no place like home, because Dorothy likes to shove that down your throat. But that doesn't make any sense, because Dorothy never took home for granted and then left and was like, oh man, I need to go back to Kansas. She never said that. As a matter of fact, Dorothy tried very, very hard to stay in Kansas. And the only reason she didn't stay in Kansas is because her snake farm friends locked her and the dog out of the cellar. They were really in the basement and they were like, 1, 2, 3, that's everybody. And so they're both just out there to die in the tornado. And Dorothy is banging on the cellar door for her life. And they're just like, y'all hear something? Y'all hear something? And
they didn't hear her. What? Didn't hear her over what? The pipes dripping? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It makes me mad. And like, let's just for fun, let's imagine Dorothy's farm friends, they are not bad people. Dorothy's farm friends aren't responsible for her getting knocked the hell out during a tornado and having a life-altering fever dream. Okay. Then maybe you might argue, oh, the moral of the story is about loving your friends because, you know, she has the 3 friends on the farm, and their names are Hunk, Hickory, and Zeke. Those are not made-up names. And then she goes to Oz, and she makes the 3 friends, and I think their names are like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And those are made up. And I think like the 2 like trios are supposed to like represent each other, like it's 2 parallel universes. Because like the Scarecrow, he's stupid, and the Lion is a coward, and the Tin Man is heartless. And then like she has the 3 friends on the farm, and like the first one, he's stupid, and then like the second one and the third one are also stupid because they're farmers in Kansas and it's 1910. And everybody's stupid. I don't like Ender's Game. I don't like it. Do you guys know what Ender's Game is?
Yeah.
It's very forgettable. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's very forgettable. I can't speak on behalf of the book. I never read it. But I can speak on behalf of my middle school boyfriend who did read it, and he wanted to go see the movie when it came out when we were in 8th grade. That was a good year, 8th grade. So we go to the movie. I could not tell you anything that happens in Ender's Game. I really could not. I can tell you, Ender's Game takes the same amount of time as it does for my middle school boyfriend to digest mall food court Chinese food. He spent the first 45 minutes in the men's bathroom, and then he spent the last 20 minutes in the women's bathroom. Because when he went to the bathroom a second time, he was just in such a rush. He went into the wrong one, and it took about 10 minutes for clear out so he could leave without anybody seeing him. But keep in mind, so he's in men's room, first 45, women's room, last 20. So there's an hour in the middle where we're both in the theater. Except we're not together because we went opening weekend, so theater's packed. And when we walk in, there's only 2 seats left next to each other. There's one seat, it's regular, normal seat. Seat next to it is a handicap seat. So we take those seats, and we're watching the previews, and a few minutes in, an elderly woman comes up to us and she says, hey, I'm disabled, I need this seat, but there's an open seat over there. So my boyfriend, you know, he does the right thing, he goes to the other seat. So I'm like a little upset, because I'm like, man, I'm in 8th grade, I'm trying to hold my man's hand, during Ender's Game, it's gonna be romantic. I was excited. But now I'm on this date with this elderly disabled woman. And so I'm like a little annoyed, but like I get it. So the movie starts, and during the entire movie, she's making comments of what's happening on the screen to me. And I'm like, like this is not happening, like code red, like we're done. So I turn to her and I'm like, listen lady, first of all, you need to shut the hell up. It's rude to the people around you. Second of all, I have a boyfriend, so you need to back off. I saw what you did with the separate seats thing. If you don't think every teacher at school hasn't already pulled that, you got another thing coming. Okay. Me and that boyfriend broke up later that year. We are no longer together. He is now dating a man, and I'm very happy for him. We're still in touch. So I guess we started with Ender's Game, and now we're at In the End He's Gay. I'm not really mad at him though. He did see me go on a date with another woman in front of him, so I get it. And I know I seem like kind of like a movie hater right now. I seem kind of negative, and I want to apologize, but I'm not going to. I'm pretty sure these opinions are right. But you need to understand, I have had a like traumatic experience in a movie theater before, and like ever since then it just hasn't been the same. You see, this is hard to talk about. When I was 16 years old, I went to see Jurassic World with a group of friends. And I was excited. I'm a big Jurassic Park fan. I was ready to see Jurassic World. I was ready to get my dinosaur on. I was hyped. I was like, let's go. And so we go to the movie theaters and we do everything right. Like we buy our tickets online. We show up early. We sit in our right seats. Like we deserve a good movie experience. And because I'm like the 5th wheel, I sit on the end of the friend group. You've been there, cool. And I'm sitting in the aisle seat. We're a few minutes in, previews are started, I'm comfy, I'm excited. usher comes into the movie theater, comes up to me specifically, and says these words exactly. He goes, "Listen, Jen, people have complained. I know it's you. Just knock it off. If I get another complaint, you're out of here." And he leaves. Okay, so a few things with that. Number one, my name's not Jen, it's Haley. Number two, he says, "I know it's you." Well, you certainly don't, because it's not. Number three, what did Jen do exactly? Because I'm also in this theater, and I did you see something? Like, I didn't see anything. And lastly, why was he being so casual with me if I'm in trouble? Like, him and Jen are on a first-name basis. Like, they know each other, they have history. Jen comes to the theaters a lot, and she messes with this one usher. Like, I just imagine, like, her relationship with Jen is just like, "Jen, if you don't knock it off right now, you are on strike 2. Don't make it strike 3, Jen, I swear to God." He's just like a stepdad struggling for authority over the kid, and it's like, it's not gonna happen. Like, Jen's not gonna listen to you. Like, you'll never be her father. But it's a few minutes into the movie. I'm loving Jurassic World. They got the cool ball thing that they roll around in. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. There's dinosaurs. I'm having a good time. Usher comes back in, comes up to me, he goes, "Someone else complained, you're coming with me." So I'm thinking, all right, I'll walk out to the lobby, lights will be on, he'll see my face, he'll see I'm not Jen, I'm good to go back in. So we leave the theater, and there are 2 mall cops waiting for me, yes. And I'm like, "You got the wrong girl, like, this is not Jen answering the phone right now." And the cops, they're walking me to mall jail, which is essentially just an office with a heavy-duty lock, but mall jail nonetheless. And they're like, I'm telling them, like, "I'm not Jen." And the cops are like, "Yeah, we've heard that story before." What is happening? And everyone's like staring at me, and this is like my local mall, so I always run into people I know, and I'm like, "That's my English teacher," and they're seeing me in mall jail right now. But I go to mall jail, and they're like questioning me, and I'm like, "Okay, we can hold the phone for a minute." And I show them my ID. I'm like, "Look, this is a picture of me that does not say Jen. I am not Jen." And so they take my ID, and they go in like another room, I guess, to figure out who's gonna be good cop and who's gonna be bad cop. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, what is happening? Like, I just want to watch Jurassic World. Like, I don't understand. And they come back in, and they go, "Miss, do you have a second form of identification?" Sorry, are you telling me Jen would go out of her way to get a fake ID so she could get away with her minor mall crimes? Like, I know. Like, they were like, Jen would get a fake one, but she wouldn't get 2. No, she's not that smart. But I pull up my school ID, they see it matches, and I'm good to go. And they're very sorry and apologetic. They were like, "We're sorry, we thought you were somebody else, like, we'll refund you for the ticket. Like, again, apologies about this." And I'm like, "Don't be sorry to me, like, you need to go, Jen is still in there, like, she can freaking have it." All right, thank you guys so much. It's been wonderful. That was incredible. I love it.
Fantastic.
I love stand-up comedy.
And movies.
Alrighty, up next,
One of our very own.
some singing for you. Woo! We have Heidi Fliegelman doing History of Wrong Guys from Kinky Boo.
We love Heidi!
Not gonna lie, I can't do words unless I hide them on here and watch them. So, look, there's a lot of other stuff to do, so we'll start at the same time. Alright, you know, I guess I'm starting.
Woo! We support you!
What's up? Sorry. Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh. Don't you dare. Girl, 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 I'm warning you. Uh-oh. I think I have a crush. I think I'm falling for him. Oh, God. Well, why not? Women have been making bad choices since the beginning of time. Are you gonna be another one of mine? Used to think you were from outer space.
Who's that bright-eyed guy in your place? You're kinda cute when you're not so shy. But I've been here before. Have I come back for more? Another chapter in the history of wrong guys. He used to be so all live by cluster bar, but now you're changing into something I just can't ignore. Charlie, honestly, I've been hurt like this before. Is there really more to you than what I've always thought? How can you surprise me anymore? Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's got a girlfriend, you flake. Why are they only nice when they're unavailable? Don't wanna be another star-crossed lover. We all know how that ends. I'm better off without him. We're better off as friends. But I've been here before. Have I come back for more? Another chapter in the history of wrong guys. Yesterday, no spark, no heartbreaking allure. But today I'm feeling something I just can't ignore. Charlie, honestly, I've been hurt like this before. Whoa, 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 whoa. The history of wrong guys. Chapter 1, he's a bum. 2, he's not into you. 3, he's a sleaze. 4, loves the girl next door. 5, loves the boy next door. 6, don't love you no more. Makes you not so unsure, so immature, or has a girlfriend named Nicola. Charlie, honestly, I've been hurt like this before. Now I see there's more to you than what I always thought. But I won't be burnt anymore. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The history of wrong guys. That was amazing. I also love Kinky Boots and I also love Heidi, so that was beautiful. Jeez.
So, a little,
What's happening now?
something a little bit more serious. Get some tissues. It's a little sad. But the very own coordinator of this event, Ashley Taylor, she's going to perform a monologue from Fences.
Oh my god.
So let's give it up for Ashley.
Get ready for this, everybody.
Hey guys, so just a little preface for the scene real quick. It's the monologue she does right after she finds her husband has been cheating on her, so that's, yeah.
I've been standing with you. I've been right here with you, Troy. I got a life too. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot with you. Don't you ever think I wanted other things? Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me? Don't you think it ever crossed my mind to want to know other men? That I wanted to lay up somewhere and forget my responsibilities? That I wanted someone to make me laugh so that I could feel good? You're not the only one that got wants and needs, but I held on to you, Troy. I took all my feelings, my wants and needs, my dreams, and I buried them inside of you. I planted a seed and watched and prayed over it. I planted myself inside of you and waited to bloom. It know, 18 years to find out the soil was hard and rocky and it wasn't never gonna bloom. But I held on to you, Troy. I held you tighter. You was my husband. I owed you everything I had, everything I could find to give to you. And upstairs in that room, with the darkness falling in on me, I gave everything I had to try and erase the doubt that you wasn't the finest man in the world. And wherever you was going, I wanted to be there with you because you was my husband. And that's the only way I was ever going to survive as your wife. You're always talking about what you give and what you don't have to give, but you take. You take too, and you don't even know nobody's giving.
Excited for all those Oscar nominations that are coming your way, Ashley?
I'm gonna try and, chase the tempo a little bit. So we have
Kevin number one.
He's gonna be singing. Well, all right, we're all gonna cry anyways because he's singing "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis Presley.
I cried.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright. So, this is my first time singing in public. So, you guys know the song, sing with me because I'd like some people to join in. Alright.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah. Go.
I'm a mess.
Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with
Alright, so up next, we have Ms. Lena Herman, and it is story time, guys.
It's story time. Kevin, I'm so mad right now. It's so pure. And my story is gonna be so impure. Oh God, we're really just like flip-flopping the moods here. All right, so for those of you who do not know, my name is Lena, and I thought that I do comedy, but it turns out that I mostly just do stories. So it's gonna be story time. So how many of you guys are freshmen, by any chance? All right, cool. Now, how many of you have been freshmen? Oh my goodness, there's so many of you. You've all been through this. So I did not have a great freshman year experience. I had a horrible roommate, unlike everybody around me who seems to be like, I met my best friend and I met nobody else and we've been friends forever. That was not me. First off, I was in a transfer program. So I transferred from the American University in DC. So I came in, thank you boys, I came in halfway through my freshman year. So halfway through your freshman year, everybody has already made the friends that they will cling on to for the rest of college. So I was like, cool. All of my friends are from American University, and all of the University of Delaware students that went with me were all very massive Trump supporters. And I was like, no. So I was like, cool, maybe guys, oh my God, like this is gonna be it. Like I'm gonna meet some new girls, like we're gonna be in a triple, because you know UD, they like to overextend their freshman class. I'm gonna prepare you now. There will be a lot of name dropping of sororities, fraternities, and people. So if you do happen to know them, I would appreciate if maybe you didn't tell them, but you're your own people and they dug their own graves. So this is my freshman year roommate story. To set the scene, guys, we lived in George Reed North. I was on the 3rd floor. Thank you, George Reed. I was on the 3rd floor. As a transfer, you have to show up a week before everybody else. A week before everybody else, no dining halls are open, and as a freshman, I had no money. So I was like, cool, I can't eat. So my lovely RA decided to take me under his wing. He currently graduated, so I can tell you all these things. Nobody can get him in trouble now. He took me under his wing, and he was like, so you're Lena, you're gonna be living with Sarah and Dasha. And I went, okay. Those names don't mean anything to me. But his face, they meant something. And I went, okay, well, who are Sarah and Dasha? He went, I just want to apologize now. Like, we're at dinner together. And I was like, what do you mean you want to apologize now? He goes, they are interesting. And he did one of these things. And I was like, oh no. And so he was like, to apologize in advance, I am going to give you weed. And as a freshman who actively smokes weed, who still does, UD, I was like, yeah, sure, stranger who I just met, give me some weed. So we sit there together and he proceeds to warn me about these two women. He's like, they are partiers, they go out Monday through Sunday. And when I mean Monday through Sunday, it was like Margs Monday, Tequila Tuesday, Wine Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Friday, cause fuck it, and like Saturday and Sunday, like the Lord's Day. Like I'm Jewish and the Lord's Day for a Jew is on Friday, but like the Lord's Day, they also went out. And I was like, I wasn't even, like part of me was shocked that one, as a freshman, you had that much money to like purchase alcohol from like seniors, because guys, we mark up the prices if we're gonna sell alcohol to you. Sorry. But that, and also the fact that they had time and the energy. So I never knew that. So to set the scene more, Sarah, her entire family came from Spain. She had a Spanish background. Dasha, her entire family was Russia. She had a Russian background. Both of them used this as an excuse to drink excessively and say that because of their culture, it wouldn't affect them the same way. And I went, well, you are both 5'2", so one shot's gonna fuck you up, which it did. But they like to use that as the excuse. They were like, well, because of our culture, we can drink and you cannot judge me for it. And I was like, fine, fuck it, like you do whatever you want. So the year goes by and it's fine. We've kept to ourselves. We've divided the room into 3 parts. It was Sarah's part, it was Dasha's, then it was me. And so I had brought literally nothing and they had brought in everything in the planet. They are both children of divorce and they liked to use their parents to get more things. And both of them, they knew, they worked the system. One day, it was Sarah's birthday, and she cried over the phone. She was like, Mom, my dad didn't buy me the teddy bear bouquet that I wanted for my birthday. Like an edible arrangement, but with teddy bears. I don't know what that is. She was like, he didn't buy me the teddy bear. Within the hour, not one, not two, but 3 separate teddy bear bouquets had shown up, along with the fruit bouquet that her dad sent and the flower bouquet her mom had sent earlier. She was working the system. Dasha did the same thing, multiple occasions. So we had an exuberant amount of shit in our apartment. And by apartment, I obviously mean dorm. So to move on, guys, I was blessed to get mono my freshman year. And I got the blood version of mono, which meant I had it for 3 whole months. It was great. For those of you who don't know what happens when you have mono, essentially you're like, wow, like I'm doing great time, having a good day, and then for about 5 seconds you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking vomit, like right now. And then you immediately vomit, it's bright orange. There you go, there's a little key for you. It's bright orange, and then you feel perfectly fine. And you live like that for about 3 months. So that's how I lived, that's how I stayed in shape. I would not recommend. So when I had mono, I was like, oh, I just wanna like lay down and everything. So I would lay down, but both of these women, this is not even the story, this is just to set the scene of how the people I had to live with. When you have mono, you're also feverish, so I was just laying there like sports bra, underpants on top of my bed. And freshman year, you know, like people are just wandering into your rooms. So like I had locked the door like a normal person because I'm in my underpants. This is a Wednesday, the key point. Not even 2 seconds of my head has hit the pillow and I had shut out the lights. Both Sarah and Dasha, plus the 3 very attractive men that all rushed Sig New freshman year, wandered into our room with music, like a boombox. I still don't see anybody with a boombox on campus. With a boombox and like alcohol that they had like shoved in like all of their like khaki pockets. I was like, how many pockets you got? So they roll on in and they're starting to party and I literally was like, guys, I have mono, can we just like fucking leave for a second? And the boys, very generous, very nice. They were just like, yeah, I mean like we can just party in our room. So they all left. Both Sarah and Dasha, to my face, were like, she's such a bitch for kicking us out of our own room. I was like, I'm dying. I use that excuse a lot. Be friends with me, you'll hear it. To move on to the true story. I feel like you now understand. Heavy partiers, they like to use excuses for their actions. And they both did not fancy me. As a person that doesn't go out that often, as a person who just prefers to smoke weed and chill out, they did not like my vibe. So let's roll through to sorority recruitment. Since I transferred here, I did not have friends, and they were like, join a sorority, you'll make friends. And I was like, all right, why not? So I rushed, I got into Pi Beta Phi. I was in there for 2 years. Woohoo, guys, sororities. I was in there for 2 years, then I dropped. Respectively, Sarah got into Sigma Kappa, and Dasha got into G-Phi, and Dasha got into ASA. G-Phi's stereotype is that they're just really nice girls, and they party a lot, and that's true. ASAs, they go fucking hard. They party till the day is blue. They are the only sorority to case. You can hear that from me. That's the tea. But so, it is a Tuesday, it is the Tuesday before our spring break. So this is the week that all of the sororities, the bigs and the littles, had decided they were going to decorate our rooms. All 3 of our sororities had chosen this week to decorate. So all sides of our rooms are decorated. Sarah's in Gamma Phi Beta atmosphere was very beachy. She had all of these handles and alcohol and like shot glasses taped to the wall. In Pi Beta Phi's very good fashion. Mine was theater based, and I got wine. And then you turn over to Dasha's side and it's ASA. They had used blackout curtains and electrical tape and written, "You're gonna fucking black out" on the wall. And she had handles and handles and handles of just absinthe. And I was like, she's gonna die. So again, we don't talk, but I know when the girls leave because you can tell because they're wearing the tight jeans and the black bodysuit. That's when you knew. So they had gone for the night. Sarah had gone home for an event and Dasha had gone out with her sorority. So I was sitting there and I was just like, cool, like night to myself. It's a Tuesday, she's probably gonna sleep at somebody else's house. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. I am watching Rick and Morty. This is like only season 1 had been out. This is our freshman year. So you know I'd only been watching season 1 on loop over and over and over again. I was higher than a kite. And I'm just sitting there in my pajamas, like no bra, just like big t-shirt and shorts. So I'm sitting there, and what can only be described as a body hitting a wall is what I heard. It's a very distinct sound. It's not a hand, it's not a knock, it's not a rap. It is the weight of a full woman's body hitting a wall. And so when I turn around, and our door to our dorm has opened. I see Dasha visibly fucked, and 2 girls are behind her, 2 girls I did not know. They pushed her into the room. This is an exact situation. They pushed her in by her back. She stumbled, face planted onto our linoleum. And they went, good luck, and they pulled the door shut. And they left me. They left me there with a woman who hates me. She hates me. Like she to this day, like this happened my freshman year. I am a senior. 2 weeks ago at a bar, she pulled a girl aside and said, I hate her. Still to this day, she holds me this to a grudge. So it all can be described as a body hitting a wall, hit a wall. She falls in, and I'm not an asshole, so I was like, you know what, like let's help her. So like, we are in George Reed North, we have a suite, so there's a bathroom in our dorm. So I pull her body, she just happens to be bustier and have more ass than me, so she by coincidence just happened to weigh more than me. So I had to straddle her and lift with my full body to put her onto the toilet. And when most people are drunk, you can hold yourself over a toilet to throw up. Now, we had surpassed the point. We had hit textbook level, like when you are in high school and they were like, if you ever have a friend that drinks alcohol, never let them lay on their back because they will vomit and then they'll choke and they'll die. Like we hit that level where she had decided that instead of holding on to the toilet, she was just going to lay back and keep trying to vomit. So I had to continually straddle her to hold her into the toilet. It was so bad. Our roommates that were our suite mates decided, they said, I don't fuck with vomit, and they left me to it. I was so mad. 10 minutes had gone by, they finally get our RA. Our RA had come in, this is the same RA who had offered me weed, amazing. And he went, you know, guys, like we called amnesty, like a blink of the eye. She was like, ah! She was like, I'm not going. She's like, I am fine. She like opens her eyes really wide when you know someone's not fine. She's like, I'm fine. So she runs, a woman who couldn't pull herself over the toilet, runs to her room and smacks against our cinder block wall, head first, cinder block wall, back into the bed. And I was like, fuck. And so I was like, Anthony, are you gonna stay? Like while amnesty comes, it's 1 in the morning and I'm high and I can't function. Because so much is happening. And he went, not my problem. And left. So again, I've been ditched by my suite mates. I have been ditched by these random sorority girls, and I have been ditched by my RA, and I'm still with this bitch who does not like me. So I was like, cool. I'm still so high. So what I didn't know is when you called amnesty, police come first because they need to secure the scene. So again, it is our big little week. So collectively betwixt the 3 of us, we have 36 handles in our room. Because it's the week before we were gonna go home. So we were like, fuck it, like we're not gonna hide it, like we're just gonna bring it home. So we get a little like that police like rap, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so high. I tried to pull it together. I opened the door, and when I handle conflict, I don't handle conflict well, and I don't handle awkward situations well at all. So I did this exact motion. I went, hello MTV, welcome to my crib. And these 2 really like juiced up cops wander into my room. And they were like, so what's her name? And they're like, have their pen and paper, like they're ready for like Aaron Smith. And I was just like, her name's Daria Yaroslavna. And they were just like, and I handed her ID, I was like, just take it. And I was like, but don't call her Daria, she only goes by Dasha. If you call her Daria, she's gonna freak out on you. And so they were like, okay, yeah, no, we got it. So they roll up to her and they went, hey Daria! And she immediately opens her eyes and she went, it's Dasha! And then shuts him back, and goes back to sleep. The EMTs roll up, same situation goes on. Same situation happens, they were like, Daria, like, you come in? She's like, hey, Dasha. It came to the point where they had to physically hoist her, strap her down, and police had to escort her out of the building because she was fighting them so hard. And she is screaming this entire time. And as they're leaving, they were like, ma'am, are you gonna go with her? And I said, to a cop, to his face, I said, fuck that. And he looked at me and he went, I understand. But just to finish up our story right here, I thought we'd be over. I was like, she's gone. I can finally be high again, by myself, watching my Rick and Morty in my pajamas, with a room by myself for the night. But no. The cop looks at me. He looks at our walls of sorority crap. He looks at the handles. He looks specifically in my direction because I don't drink a lot, so I had weed brownies stapled to the wall that with a big arrow pointing to it on our whiteboard that said, weed brownies, don't confuse with real brownies, because when you're in a sorority, they give you real brownies, and I really didn't want to confuse them because you shouldn't eat more than half of it. So he looks back at the wall, he looks at the brownies, he looks at me, he looks at the alcohol, he looks at me, he looks at the ASA, you're gonna black out, he looks back at me and he goes, so was this a sorority or fraternity related event? And I went, I don't know. And to this day, ASA still gave me a thank you card for that.
That was funny, Lena. You're really good at telling stories.
I can tell the story.
So up next, we have some singing again by Ms. Maren Wood. Parents just don't understand.
From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Hell yeah.
Just freshmen.
I literally was just like, oh, fuck.
Yes, Maren.
I've done this in my bedroom so many times. So welcome to my room. Oh, yes, sorry.
I love Maren so much.
My queen.
It's starting. It's just like
Yes, Maren.
Can you turn it up? You know, parents are the signal matter, time or place. They don't understand that as kids are gonna make some mistakes. So to you all the kids all across the land, there's no need to argue, parents just don't understand. I remember one year my mom took me school shopping. It was me, my brother, my mom, my pops, and my little sister all hopped in the car. We headed downtown to the gallery mall. My mom started bugging with the clothes she chose. I didn't say nothing at first, I just turned up my nose. She said, what's wrong? This shirt cost $20. I said, Mom, the shirt is plaid with a butterfly collar. The next half hour was the same old thing. My mother buying me clothes from 1963, and then she lost her mind and did the ultimate. I asked her for Adidas and she bought me Zips. I said, Mom, what are you doing? You're ruining my rep. She said, you're only 16. You don't have a rep yet. I said, Mom, let's put these clothes back, please. She said, no. You go to school to learn, not for a fashion show. I said, this isn't sounding right. Come on, Mom, I'm not Belgian. And please put back the bell-bottom Brady Bunch trousers. But if you don't want to, I can live with that. But you gotta put back the double knit reversible slacks. She wasn't moved. Everything stayed the same. Inevitably, the first day of school came. I thought I could get over it. I tried to play safe, but my mom said, no way, forget it, there was nothing I could do. I tried to relax, I got dressed up in those ancient artifacts, and when I walked into school, it was just as I thought. The kids were cracking up laughing at the clothes Mom bought, and those who weren't laughing still had a ball, because they were pointing and whistling as I walked down the hall. I got home and told my mom how my day went. If they were laughing, you don't need them because they're not good friends. Well, the next 6 hours, I tried to explain to my mom that I was going to have to go through this about 200 more times. So to you all the kids all across the land, there's no need to argue. Parents just don't understand. Okay, here's the situation. My parents went away on a week's vacation and they left the keys to the brand new Porsche. Will they mind? Well, of course not. I'll just take it for a little spin and maybe show it off to a couple of friends. I'll just cruise it around the neighborhood. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, of course I should. Pay attention, here's the thick of the plot. I pulled up to the corner at the end of my block, and that's when I saw this beautiful girly girl walking. I picked up my car phone and perpetrated like I was talking. You should have seen this girl's bodily dimensions. I honked my horn just to get her attention. She said, was that for me? I said, yeah. She said, why? I said, come on and take a ride with a hell of a guy. She said, how do I know you're not sick? You could be some deranged lunatic. I said, come on, touch. My name is the Prince. Besides, what a lunatic. have a Porsche like this? She agreed and we were on our way. She was looking very good, so I tied my safe word. We hit McDonald's, pulled into the drive-thru, ordered 2 Big Macs and 2 large fries and Cokes. She kicked the shoes off onto the floor. She said, "Drive fast, speed turns me on." She put her hand on my knee. I put my foot on the gas. We almost got whiplash. I took off so fast. The sunroof was open. The music was high, and this girl's hand was suddenly moving up my thigh. We had opened up 3 buttons on her shirt so far. I guess that's why I didn't notice that police car. Which it would not be in my mom's new Porsche. And to make this long story short, when the cop pulled me over, I was scared as hell. I said, "I don't have a license, but I drive very well, officer." Almost had a heart attack that day. Come to find out, the girl was a 12-year-old runaway. I was arrested. The car was impounded. There was no way for me to avoid being grounded. My parents had to come up from vacation to get me. I'd rather be in jail than to have my father hit me. My parents walked in. I got my grip and said, "Mom, Dad, how was your trip?" They didn't speak. I said, "I want to plead my case," but my father just shoved me in the car by my face. It was a hard ride home. I don't know how I survived. They took turns. One was beating me while the other was driving. I can't believe it. I just made a mistake. Well, parents are the same, no matter time, no place. So to you all the kids all across the land, take it from me. Parents just don't understand.
An icon.
Yes, Maren, that was amazing. That was so good.
Bars.
Bars. So up next we have the D Sharps. Yes. Doing some acapella.
Yes.
Yay, D-Sharps and Rachel Lee. That's my great name. Mine, my best friend right here.
He refused to admit to anybody else. Yeah, I was the only person who and it was because of Josh Edger. It felt so horrible. You're accusing her. Don't tell him. Sorry. Oh, you're totally fine. They're so cute. That was my secret. Yeah, no, you said it.
Hi.
You understand my pitch?
I do. I got it. He's cool. All female off the tunnel group. Woo! Start with finest out. Jerry.
Yeah.
Walking in with good intentions, walking out with no patience. I feel my buttons being pressed on. I feel my body trying to start some. I know I'm young, but I'm pissed off. Telling everyone to get cross. A couple rounds I've been messed up. I'm falling down and I'm holding it all on a thread now. No, I ain't perfect. Never said I was perfect. And I'm putting it all on a prayer now. I ain't perfect. Never said I was perfect. This ain't my finest hour. Might see my flaws today. My words are out of order. Maybe my drink's to blame. Emptying all my pockets till I don't feel a thing. This ain't my finest hour. This ain't my finest hour. Bottling my emotions. All this talk and commotion. Everybody got me stressed out. I can't control if I break down. Every night is a big blur. I can get a hold of my temper. Ain't no one to depend on. I'm falling down and I'm holding it all on a thread now. I ain't perfect. Never said it was perfect. And I'm putting it all on a prayer now.
Now we're going to sing our group song, which is Love You Long.
Loves me a lot, and you know the man is gonna take his spot, and I'm so happy you're mine. I'ma love you a long time. Let me love you, let me love you, let me play my best. Let me love you, let me play my best. Let me love you, let me love you a long time. 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 Let me love you. I never knew someone like you. Oh no, and I never felt the way I do. Before, I know I lose, I wanna let you. Hey, yeah, maybe you should cool it, I know I'm not crazy. Nobody ever loved me quite like you do. And he loves me a lot, and you know the man is gonna take his spot, and I'm so happy you're mine. I'ma love you a long time. Let me love you, let me love you, let me take my head. Let me love you, take my head. Let me love you a long time. This is the sweetest thing I've known, for sure. And you give me reason to hold on. I don't wanna lose, I wanna let you. Hey, yeah, maybe you should cool it, I know I'm quite like you do. Love you a long time. Let me love you, let me love you a long time. Let me love you, let me love you. I never knew someone like you could do the things you do. Oh no. And he loves me a lot, and you know the man is gonna take his spot, and I'm so happy you're mine. I'ma love you a long time.
That was so good. I really love acapella. So up next we have Chris Johnson. Oh my God! And he's gonna be doing something hopefully funny, but I know it's gonna be funny.
We love you.
Do you want a stool?
Oh my God.
Do you want a
Garden's gang.
Yeah, I'm a nerdy white guy. I'm just gonna sit and talk at you. Wonder what my aesthetic will be. Yeah, this was the part where I tell you guys about myself. Yes? Hello? Do you have a question? Okay. So yeah, this is the part where I tell you guys about myself. Problem is I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at talking about myself to anyone. I know a lot of you in this room, so if you know anything about me, you know that you know me in general, but most of you just have pieces of a puzzle of Chris Johnson. Because I forget to tell people details about my life a lot. The only two people who really know my whole life story are probably Sienna in the back there and my Twitter feed. So, yeah, I think most of my life is comprised of a series of fun facts. Fun fact, I lived in Japan for 3 years.
What?
If you didn't know that, yeah, see, if you didn't know that, fun fact, I didn't tell you about a whole 7th of my life. So,
When you told me, I freaked out.
yeah, the reaction to that is normally, you lived in Japan, what? But yeah, so I spent a whole 7th of my life abroad. Normally, the reason I don't talk about it is because it was in middle school, and we don't want to talk about that. Yeah, so I was in Japan. It was a wonderful experience. I was uncomfortable most of the time because I was 5'10", which is 6 inches taller than everyone else there, and 12. So I was very uncomfortable. But one great thing that came out of Japan was I learned how cool my parents are. Because before I went to Japan, my parents weren't that cool in my eyes. They were just 2 nerdy adults who were way too invested in theater. But when we got to Japan, my family, my mom especially, I realized how savage they are. I was there and, okay, so we're going to have to preface this with my mom. If you haven't met my mom yet, I'd like you to close your eyes and imagine someone about my height, with brown hair, about as curly as mine, and, yeah, no, that's not my mom. My mom's 5'6", about, blonde, very kind lady, nicest person you'll ever meet. And she's a complete savage. So, the first time this happened occurred, the first time I realized this happened when I was in Japan was when we were at this park, about a month into when we'd arrived. So we were all uncomfortable. I was always uncomfortable, but we were there, and we were at this small park. My brother Sam was about 4 at the time, so she had to he was on this jungle gym that was shaped like a spaceship. He had somehow managed to get to the top of it and get stuck there, so she was trying to unhook him from there, and I was just sitting there eating this great bag of kettle corn. Fun fact, I really like kettle corn. So I was sitting there eating my bag of kettle corn, and I realized that there were pigeons there, and I was like, oh, Mom, do you think I should feed the pigeons? She was like, don't do it. I did it. I was feeding pigeons, and I gained a flock. I was like a bird whisperer. Fun fact, I'm scared of pigeons. You'll find out why. So after about 5 minutes of this, I had amassed a crowd of about 30 or 40 pigeons just around my feet, begging for that next scrap of kettle corn. And it was great for about 5 minutes, until the kettle corn ran out. I don't know if you guys have ever been surrounded by angry pigeons. I didn't know that could happen. What they do is they're really low to the ground normally, because they're birds, and they'll fly up in your face and flap their wings right in front of you. And me, being uncomfortable, 5'10" boy that I was, I ran, spewing kettle corn behind me, just completely there. My mom looked over. Currently, Sam had somehow managed to make his way to the very top of the spaceship where it wasn't built to go, and she looked at me and was like, oh, if he dies, he dies. He's lived a good 12 years. If he gets a few inches chopped off, it might be better for all of us. And yeah, I managed to make it away after I threw my bag behind me, but I realized my mom did not care about us at all, and it was very apparent. I do think my mom wanted a girl at some point. She would paint my nails a lot when I was a kid. This was back in the early 2000s when the world hadn't realized that gender was stupid yet. So we were there, and I basically did a lot of what would be considered feminine things as a kid, and it did help my worldview a lot. But what it led to was me spending a lot of quality time with my mom. So when she was savage or non-committal towards me, it was all right. There were worse instances, especially revolving around my brother Sam, who I've mentioned earlier. Sam was born in around 2004 or so, so world started to realize that, you can be whatever you want to be, but he wanted to be a guy, and that was not what my mom wanted completely. So, fun fact, I have 2 brothers, and my dad's also another one, so my mom's completely outnumbered. Every time a brother came out, she'd be like, have to deal with another one. So many Nerf bullets around the house. But yeah, my brother Sam received the worst treatment. We were on a mini vacation once, and we were in Kyoto, a wonderful place, it's in Japan. Nice. We were there, and we were climbing a temple. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those like paintings of sort of Asian hills. It's more of like a Chinese image, but that's what it felt like to me at my age. We had to climb up about 300 steps to get to the top of this temple. It was great. As a middle schooler, it was the most boring thing I've ever experienced. But we were at the top, and there was a gift shop, because of course one temple has to have a gift shop. We were there, I went through, I was like, I don't really want anything. I left through the exit of the temple. You're not allowed to go back in after you exit. This is important. My brother Michael, I have a brother named Michael, fun fact. He left right after me. He had bought a keychain, and he was excited about this keychain. My dad left as well, and my brother Sam was just trailing along behind me. He was like, I don't want anything. He left. My mom left. All 5 of us are outside of this temple that we are not allowed to go back into. My brother Sam suddenly decides that he's the youngest child, and if any of you are the youngest child, or if you have a sibling who is younger than you, you understand that if there's a way to get attention, it will be taken. So he said, I actually want a keychain. Can we go back in? Fun fact, you had to pay to get into this temple. So my mom said, no, we are not going back in. We are on the other side of this hill. We are not walking all the way around to pay the entrance fee again to go back to the keychain. So my brother, as a preschooler does, started crying. My mom went, oh, what a shame. By this point, Michael and my dad are at the bottom of the hill, and I turned around to watch the most wonderful thing I've ever seen, and it has forever cemented my mom in my mind as the best person on this earth. She looked at my crying brother, looked at the 200 steps to the bottom of the hill, backed at my brother, pulled out her phone, took a picture, and walked away. I've never seen a boy stop crying faster than that. So yeah, 3 years there, and I learned my mother's a complete savage, and I got to write a comedy set about how my mom's the best person on this planet. So thank you very much, everyone.
So, we're almost done, guys. It's crazy. There's like a couple more acts. Feel free to get some food and stuff. We're not going to get it for you, but you can go get it. Oh, there they go. So up next we have unfiltered improv. And what are they going to do?
Sing.
We don't know yet.
Hi guys, so we're Unfiltered Improv. We are the non-audition improv group here, and we focus on short form. We're going to play a game called You'll Never Believe What I Just Heard. And so it's basically a game of telephone and charades kind of mixed together. And so we're going to make a story for you. 3 of us are going to leave the room, but first we need to know who was there, where they were, who they met up with, and what did they do. And with that, we're going to leave Shannon to have you guys pick stuff for her.
I'm scared.
Woohoo!
Hi guys.
Don't
So
start yet.
don't worry. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm only a sophomore and they're all seniors. So
Shannon,
I'm
they're gone.
scared. Okay, are they gone?
They're gone.
They're not coming back.
We've locked the doors.
Anyway, okay, so I need the first person. I need a who?
Barney.
Barack Obama. We're gonna go with Barney because I heard that one first. I need a place.
McDonald's drive-thru.
McDonald's drive-thru, is that what you said?
Yes.
Gotcha. I need a second person.
Another party. The red party.
The what?
Bill Hader.
Teletubby. George Bush.
Pennywise the Clown.
Stephen Hawking.
Michael Jordan.
My mom.
Michael
Chris's mom.
Wait, what did we decide?
Pennywise. We're doing Pennywise. Okay. And then I need, what were they doing? What were were Barney and Pennywise account doing at a McDonald's drive-thru?
Buying weed. Making out. Making out.
I'm not doing that. Okay.
Using the bathroom.
I have Pennywise the clown, and I have smoking the blunt. Is that correct?
Yes!
Cool.
Oh my gosh, life episode.
Summon them.
So Kira's gonna come back in now.
Woohoo! Yeah, Kira.
Watch me do stupid things. Hey, Jen. Hi. Okay, you'll never believe what I just heard.
Okay, what?
And that's what I just heard.
Okay.
Enough. Woo!
Hey, Georgie, you're not gonna believe what I just saw.
What did you see, Kira?
So, Barney the dinosaur, yeah, he was in a car, and he was with a T-Rex, and together they were smoking joints. Oh, yeah. Sounds cool. Yeah.
Oh my God, Ethan. You're not going to believe what I just heard. That's what I just heard.
Alright. Y'all are never gonna believe what I just saw. So there was a zombie and he was like walking up to a trucker, because you know that's what zombies do. They find live people. And they went to the trucker symposium where they feature a lot of trucks. And so that zombie decided that he should not be there, so he moonwalked out of there with Michael Jackson. And then, so Michael Jackson and the zombie are like, yo, I'm feeling a little stressed from this trucker symposium. Do you mind if we smoke? And so they got high off weed, because that's what I just
Here, that what Hell's Game goes?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So Barney the dinosaur and Pennywise the clown were at a McDonald's drive-thru, and they decided to smoke weed.
I got one.
Yeah!
So up next, we have Allison Ziegler singing Daughter of the Moon.
By Adriana Figueroa.
Woo! Come on up, Allison.
Yeah!
Hello. I'm not cool enough to have a backtrack or backup singers, so I'm just gonna do it like this. Thank you. Alright. Just 1 second.
You got it.
Thank you. Silver light, she turned her face up to the starlit sky, and on this night began to wonder why. She knew that soon the day would come. Born to be an ember of beauty and serenity, into this world she entered quietly. To her surprise, she was the one. Destiny was close behind her, phantoms of borrowed life, and the sea was a reminder, mirrors of
got chills.
All right, next we have Rachel Milberg singing the haircut.
Yeah, Rachel Milberg.
I'm gonna sit, is that okay?
Yeah.
What? No. I don't think so. I promise I looked really good, and then me and Jen got caught in the full-on flash flood, and then it just made me look bad.
You could never look bad.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so I'm singing this song by this girl named Shannon Moser. She opened for my favorite band ever, the Front Bottoms, when me and Olivia song this. And I really liked her song. So this is also my first time, like Kevin, wherever he went, doing this like, with my ukulele. So I am also like, said I'm doomed to love you, and that's the truth. It's such a fucked up way to say that I loved you too. Sometimes things just go so bad that you cannot make it up. I'm batshit down on Cheney Street, lying here in the park, and none of this is so poetic, and sometimes it's not poetic, and I will rearrange the whole damn thing and tell you to forget it. A broken heart can convince itself of many things. Like I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you, and that's the way it is. I'd silence my own beating heart, that's the shit you don't want to hear. I'd sell myself out for a lifetime of I love you, my dear. Remember when I met you, your hair was long. You asked me to cut it for you, so I did an okay job.
That was beautiful, Rachel Milberg. Oh my God.
Can you give me a haircut?
Yeah, that's good. What are you doing? All right, so up next we have
Kevin number 2.
Kevin number 2. Stand up. Hey, do you like the stool? Okay.
We love you.
Would you like a stool?
It's okay. Hey. Is this good? Can you guys hear me?
No.
No?
It's not on, but I can hear it.
Yeah.
I'll just project this one.
Yeah.
It's important.
We want to hear you.
Is it on now?
Yeah.
Does it concern anyone else that doctors still call it practice? Alright, that's my set.
I'm actually not going to do a stand-up set because I had nothing prepared until today, but I am going to read some poetry that I wrote. So.
Yeah. Should we snap?
You can snap. Yeah, snap at the end of the poem. That's good stuff. All right, this is a limerick. There once was a wee lass named Mary, who quite liked the alcohol sherry. When she was down in the dumps, she had a little too much, and woke up in Las Vegas married. All right, this one's a haiku. Teddy Roosevelt is more than a rough rider. Brachiosaurus. All right, this next one's a dramatic monologue. Roar, smash, buildings crumble, cars crash, all I see is rubble. A giant foot shakes the earth. When it comes to shrapnel and soot, there is no dearth. I'm quivering behind a dumpster in an alley. The smell in my nostrils is rather ripe, but it's a trivial part in the dire rally to try and preserve my precious life. I then see a monstrous and reptilian tail sweep past the alley and disappear. I peek from the dumpster to see a train derail and have now reached the pinnacle of my fear. Why has God created this abomination? Or could it dare be one of man's sick creations, grown powerful past what they could ever foresee? No matter its origin, it must be stopped. My mind had now snapped past the point of reason. I looked around to see the body of a cop. I run to him and take his gun with a newfound brazen. I now know that it's up to me. To rid the world of this monster would be no easy task. But I feel that it's my destiny. I'll be a hero without a mask. How though, how does a measly man like myself possibly take out something that could use a skyscraper as a knick-knack shelf? Frankly, I didn't really care, for I was now a desperate man. For a good minute at the monster I stare, and then I run. I think to myself as I run that I'll be a legend. They'll call me the monster killer. Then the shadow of a foot blacks out the sun, and the last thing I hear, it's Godzilla!
Woo!
All right, this one's called, fuck am I gonna call this one? As I vegetate on my couch, watching Rush Hours 1, 2, and finally, 3. They're having a marathon on BET, which I guess makes sense because Chris Tucker. But still, I feel like those movies aren't exactly the most racially charged. I wonder if they're playing them on AET, Asian Entertainment Television. Because, you know, Jackie Chan. I Google it and they're not, mainly because AET isn't even a real channel. They were playing Rush Hour on Fox though, probably the only time BET and Fox had the same programming on. But to be honest, Rush Hour has nothing to do with this poem. In fact, I'm not entirely sure what this poem's about. I'm pretty sure I wrote it drunk. And the fact that I'm pretty sure means I probably wrote it drunk. Alright, this next one's called Ice Cream for Breakfast. Ali Sheedy in the Breakfast Club says, a sad choke in her voice, when you grow up, your heart dies. But why? Why does fun start to be seen as naive? Why can't we eternally be optimistic and still see reality? Why do we stop eating ice cream for breakfast? Billy's turn to Williams, TJ's to Thomas's, Maggie's to Margaret's, Joey's to Joseph's. Our inhibition-free, life-loving world we see leaves with our names. We pay in our childhood ways for entrance into the real world. Have our lives until then, as boys and as girls, our memories, our friends, and our loves not been real? The real world is just the world. Then why? Why are we suddenly not supposed to cry? Why do we stop laughing at certain words like poop? An inherently funny word, don't dispute it. Why do we stop eating ice cream for breakfast? We have to be adults, more like adult, because there is no such thing. We're all just slightly bigger human beings. Nothing changes when we turn 18 or 30 or 50 or 75, because in the end, we're just a world of kids all playing one big game of pretend. We trade Legos for blue pinks, sick teddy bears for sick people, diaries for newsprints, soap bubbles for pentachlorophenol, art for just more art. We call sports professions, but they're literally just games we play at recess. So many people are blind to these facts, they get mad and confused at life when they're not on any serious track, when they reach a certain age, striving for something that doesn't exist, constantly looking for something they miss, thrown into a world they can't get a footing in because the footing isn't there. Then how? How do we navigate a world no one has a map to? How do we do things we actually want to do? How do we start eating ice cream for breakfast? It's easy. Just eat it. Life's only miserable if you make it. Sure, things get hard, but there's literally no benefit to stressing. Things get depressing, but embrace it. Ask for help. Friends will be in your ring when you face it. We can't control anything, but we can how we deal with them. Be your true self, the big kid we all actually are. Roll in meadows, wonder at the stars, have the occasional paint fight, climb things for no other reason than just to see the sight. Talk to strangers, make new friends, because you could blink and you'll already be at the end. So for life's sake, eat some goddamn ice cream for breakfast. Alright, this next one I wrote as a rap, technically, but I'm just gonna spoken word it. I'll spoken word it. I'll spoken, alright, good. I guess I'll rap.
Do it badly.
Could you guys like clap a beat maybe?
Yeah.
See what happens? I'm writing this while I'm drunk, but I don't give a fuck because it's real fun, and I'm getting more dough than Scrooge McDuck. I'm swimming in it, putting women in it. They find gold coins when the sun don't hit them, and it's honestly obvious that I'm spitting some lies, but who cares? It's entertaining in rhymes. Besides, who knows what the future holds? Hell, if Trump could be POTUS, I could date top models and have a pool full of gold. My image spreading like greenback mold, and rising up in Forbes like my nips in the cold. While I'm buying my happiness till I'm wrinkled and old, I croak. Get buried in a diamond coffin and live it up as a ghost. Eating caviar in heaven with Marilyn Monroe. We clink glasses, exchange glances, and then I'm moving closer to her lips and her mole as I throw the middle finger up to Joe DiMaggio. Then suddenly I feel a heat crawl in my spine. I look around to see Satan himself barrel into behind. He grabs me by the throat and says, "I don't know how you got through." Frantically I scream, "What the hell did I do?" He says, "Huh, nothing yet, but don't worry, you'll be there soon." Now everyone in heaven's staring, thinking I'm a goon. But I don't mind, Goonies never say die, so I kick Satan in the nuts and I spit in his eye. He just laughs as my spit sizzles away. I'm evil itself, why even try? And going for the nuts, so what are you, gay? I turn my head and defeat, no more tricks up my sleeve. I open my mouth, but before I could speak, he yells, "Breathe!" And I realized that never once in my life charity crossed my mind. And having all my money just burned when I died probably wasn't that wise. But I worked hard to earn it, so was it really a crime? After all, it's all mine. Still, Satan drags me past Peter through the pearly gates. His claws burn on my wrists as they emanate hate. Then he throws me through the clouds and I swiftly plummet down through the ground onto a three-headed hound. Cerberus, I think, but his name tag reads Sparky. His breath smells of death and his teeth snap sharply. I slide down his back with fur black as night, dodging monstrous claws as they swipe with pure spite. Then all three of his jaws are poised to bite, but a ding rings out and he suddenly freezes. I feel like the chilling wisps of cold breezes, and an elevator appears in a puff of choking smoke, and Satan gives me a look, as if I'm some kind of joke. Then he steps out with a smug grin, opens the red-hot gates of hell, and we walk in, ready to repent for my sins. But as the first flame starts to singe my skin, a bright light takes over my body, and it convulses. I hear a low buzz and the sound of voices. "Clear!" I hear. My body jerks again. I look up, and an EMT stares down. Holy shit, I think. I left the stove on. That's my set, guys.
William Shakespeare, who? Alright, so we have one more act, but before that, can we all give a round of applause for Ashley Taylor for
Alright, so we didn't save the worst for last. She's pretty good.
It is.
We love Riley.
Riley Halpin
singing Watch What Happens from Newsies.
Wow. Oh, okay. That was really good, Kevin. I'm gonna sing a goofy song. So.
You ready, guys?
Yeah.
Write what you know, so they say. All I know is I don't know what to write or the right way to write it. This is big, lady, don't screw it up. This is not some little vaudeville I'm reviewing. Poor little kids versus rich, greedy, sour pussies. Huh, it's a cinch. It can practically write itself, and let's pray it does. 'Cause as I may have mentioned, I have no clue what I'm doing. And I can say this is what I've been waiting for. Well, that plus a screaming of 10 angry editors. A girl, it's a girl. How the hell? Is that even legal? Look, just go and get her. Not only that, there's a story behind the story. Thousands of children exploited, invisible. Speak up, take a stand, and there's someone to write about it. That's how things get better. Give life's little guys some ink, and when it dries, just watch what happens. Those kids will live and breathe right on the page, and once they're center stage, watch what happens. plain spoken, no, nothing skirt chasing, cocky little son of a, lie down with dogs, and you wake up with a raise and a promotion. So he's a flirt, a complete egomaniac. The fact is he's also the face of the strike. What a face, face the fact, that's a face that can save us all from sinking in the ocean. Like someone said, power tends to corrupt and absolute power, wait, corrupts, absolutely, that is genius! But give me some time, I'll be twice as good as that. 6 months from never, just look around at the world we're inheriting and think of the one we'll create. Their mistake is they got old, that is not a mistake. We'll be making those or we'll stay young forever. Give those kids and me the brand new century and watch what happens. It's David and Goliath, do or die, the fight is on, and I can't watch what happens. But all I know is nothing happens if you just give in. It can't be any worse than how it's been, and it just so happens that we just might win. So whatever happens, let's begin.
Oh my God! Wow. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. Everybody was fantastic.
You guys are incredible. There's so much talent. Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're hoping to do this again. But
Oh my god. So give yourselves a huge round of applause. You're all so talented.
we still have some food and drinks over there, so please help yourself.
Audition for staff.
Audition for staff.
Yay!
Come to E52 general meetings.
Heck yeah.
Thursday night, 8 p.m. Perkins 310.
All right, thank you everybody. Have a good night.
When? That was fun.
No, this was instead of
So here's my
So you know what? She got her own.